It's got a lot of interesting things going on, and I think those sweeter pairings might just knock it out of the park. Hey folks, today we're taking a look at the HVC's Hotcake Broadleaf, crafted by the one and only Rainier Lorenzo, a man of the people. Say one thing about Rainier, say he's a man of the people. Because there are a few creators out there that pay attention to price and over-deliver in the experience department like Rainier. So what is the HVC Hotcake Broadleaf like? Well, my first half inch or so, this cigar has not been what I expected traditionally from broadleaf, which is earthy and sweet. There is a dark chocolate thing happening. There's a coffee sensation happening. There's a little bit of earth, but it's not a significant player at the moment. It's coffee, it is dark chocolate, a little bit of leather, a little bit of sourdough bread too. And through the nose, I get a singeing spice, but on the palate, not so much. I would not say this is a very peppery cigar at the moment, but it's almost like a ginger type heat right through the nostrils. Maybe it's cinnamon. There's some baking spice influence happening in here as well, but I wouldn't say it's like red pepper. That heat is just something else. It's a little bit of a sweeter heat. But the rest of the cigar is, in the wine world, it'd be dry. It is not overly sweet. It is very much on the bitter spectrum, but not in a bad way at all. And that's from the coffee, the dark chocolate. Not a bitter cigar, but the sweetness is a bit dry, if that makes any sense at all.
Hey, what's up? This is Sebastian from Cavalier, smoking the White Series right now. I'm a subscriber for Small Batch. You should be too. By the way, how do you like the video bomb?
And the leathery component is really interesting here because sometimes it's like suede, and sometimes it is a much rougher leather experience. It's a nuanced leather in this cigar, which I really wasn't expecting to find in a broadleaf blend. And speaking of, what is the blend for this cigar? It's got a USA Connecticut broadleaf wrapper over Nicaraguan binder and fillers. This is a 5.5 by 52 Torpedo. And if you like the Crown Heads Le Karim, I think this cigar is probably going to be right up your alley. But if you're looking for sweetness like the new Saunter by Kyle Gellis, or like the Opus X, the 20th anniversary, not going to find it in this blend. But I do find it in the original hotcakes with the San Andreas wrapper. And now, as soon as I said all that about sweetness, I am getting a sweet cedar coming through that was not there in the first little bit. I did end up dropping the ash. I let it extinguish on me. Shame. For shame, yeah. So I dropped the ash, I relit it, and that is the best way to relight a cigar. If you're new to cigars and it extinguishes on you, it goes out. Drop the ash first, and then relight just as if you were lighting it from the very beginning. Start from the outside edges, work your way back in. But you don't need quite as much heat on a relight, especially if it just went out on you. So keep that in mind so it doesn't get too hot, too acrid. Keep those flavors cool and vibrant and fresh. And so with 3 renditions of Hotcake available from HVC, the original with a Mexican San Andreas wrapper, the golden line with an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper, and now this one fresh out of the oven with a broadleaf wrapper, it begs the question, what's your favorite? How would you rank the 3? Drop us a comment, email me, do whatever you want to do. I'm just super curious what you think of this cigar as well as the other 2. How would you relate them to each other? Personally, myself, it's going to be the Golden Line Connecticut first, the original, and then this one, not because it's subpar compared to the other 2 at all. It's just I like the sweetness, and this one is a bit on the drier side. It's a bit on the bitter side. Not so much dry. I guess that's the wrong term. I'm conflating terms. I don't know. In my humblest of opinions, though, Rainier absolutely kills it when he's working with Mexican San Andreas tobacco. My first introduction from that tobacco with him was the La Rosa 520 Maduro. That cigar kicks all the ass. Phenomenal, phenomenal cigar. Unfortunately, I don't think that they're available anymore. But then came along the hot cake, and he took it to a whole nother level. But he's also doing really interesting things with broadleaf. We have this one, which is a pretty unique stance on the broadleaf profile. And we've also got the first selection broadleaf in a Robusto format, and both of them are very affordable in the sense that they're not $30, $40 cigars. Again, Rainier, a man of the people, over delivers every time. All right, dropping the ash. I'm still getting leather. I'm still getting coffee, that chicory root kind of coffee from Louisiana. Dark chocolate still there. It hasn't become creamy in texture or in nature at all this whole time. There was a sweetness in the form of cedar and maybe some cinnamon or nutmeg spice that was, you know, spicy through the nostrils and maybe a little bit sweet on the palate. But there is a mintiness coming out every now and then with this cigar. I've experienced it maybe 3 times in total so far. And there's also something building in the background now. It is like if you took plum and you dried it out and it wasn't quite as sweet. The cigar is interesting. Interesting. I do think this would end up being a really interesting cocktail pairing. But I also think rum would probably shine. Whiskeys would probably shine as well. In the beer category, I would stay away from porters and stouts, and I might go with something like a lower ABV IPA, I think might work really well here. Yeah, skip anything that's kind of malty. It'll be too much malt. If you're looking for a non-alcoholic pairing, I would pair this with lemonade all day. Root beer as well. Dr. Pepper, get crazy. It's got a lot of interesting things going on, and I think those sweeter pairings might just knock it out of the park. All right, that's enough for me, guys. Let's see what other people are saying about this cigar. Our friend Barry at thebarrelburner.com rated it a 95, saying, quote, "It feels like every HVC release tops the prior one." And the hardworking folks at Developing Palates rated it pretty average overall. All right, folks, that's it from us. I hope you have an excellent day. We'll see you soon.